Let's move on to our last game. We'll do this quickly and get out of here. But Cole picked Georgia Tech. Tom, did you pick Georgia Tech too? I took Clemson.
I picked Clemson, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
And because we believe in accountability on the Power too.
Yeah. So Tom and I picked Clemson here. Man, they're an absolute mess, but we will pull a line out of Pate's book and go winners first. Cole, take a victory lap for us. Georgia Tech wins on a walk-off. The execution on that walk-off field goal. Just perfect. Beautiful. Perfect. Absolute beautiful way to end the noon window. Cole, go ahead. Sorry.
24-21, just like I predicted it was going to go. Haynes King. I don't even care if he throws the football the rest of the season. He is just a winner. He just has that gut dog mentality in him to be able to deliver drive after drive after drive. That offensive line creating opportunities for both him and Jamal Haynes to make plays behind the line of scrimmage and get upfield. The execution of the defense to put Cade Klubnik in a position where he knew they couldn't run the football efficiently, where he knew that they were taking away some of his best elements downfield. Yes, he did have that big touchdown pass to Bryant Wesco. Yes, there were some moments where it did feel like Clemson was getting back in the game, but this is all about culture. And I think that you saw that efficiently by the way that Brent Key didn't panic when he called the timeout and then sitting on the sidelines waiting for the play to end and then have the fire drill field goal play. Just his overall mentality of, we already got this locked up. That is the type of culture that you need at a place like Georgia Tech. That's the type of culture that you need at a place where there are not a lot of expectations year in and year out, and you think that this could be a special year to remember. Again, this is a fun team. This is a driven team based off of physicality. We need more coaches in college football who are head coaches that come from the offensive and defensive lines because of the mentality that they go through practice, the mentality they go through drills, and the way that you have urgency. That is what makes a team like Georgia Tech special. I told you guys this. They were going to be a playoff team. It's because of the persona they carry themselves with. They are always going to feel like that they are the underdog. They are always going to feel like that they're down, but they're never out. And when the moment arises, it's never too big for them. Credit where credit's due. This was a phenomenal game plan by Brent Key. More importantly, this was a date to remember for Georgia Tech football because if they acted like they've been here before. And you saw that on the fire drill field goal play. What a performance. What a game plan. Look out. The Yellow Jackets are here to stay in the world of college football. And rank them higher, you cowards, in the AP poll. They've earned it.
But before we do that, I will give some love to Sleeper. We play the Sleeper more or less game every single Wednesday. We'll do it again this week when the stats are out, when the picks are available. You can pair more or less of 2 or more players and win literally up to 1,000 times your money. Go to the Sleeper app, use our code CFA for 100% match up to $100. I was in there yesterday in an eliminator league. I've made it through 2 weeks of the NFL season. Not that impressive, but there have been weeks that I've lost week 1. So go check out the eliminator leagues. Go check out the pick'ems. Obviously, a lot of people have their fantasy football through the Sleeper app. Their score bug is great. They do a great job with just updating the scores of everything. I was watching Barcelona's score bug while I was watching Red Zone yesterday on the TV. So go check them out. Terms and conditions apply. Make sure you see their terms of use for details.
They're not cowards in the AP poll. They're just idiots, really, at the end of the day.
Georgia Tech, their schedule sets up pretty nicely. When you look at the ACC, it is week 3, and a lot of teams haven't even played an ACC game yet. I get it. When you look at their schedule, I think they're going to be favored in just about every ACC game that they have left. They have the second best odds to go to Charlotte, and second best odds to thus win the thing with Miami at number 1. You look at the ACC, it's kind of the cannibalization that we'll see in the SEC is the complete opposite in the ACC. Clemson's schedule, somewhat favorable, minus the Louisville and Florida State games that they have to play. I'd still take them against Louisville at this moment, but we'll see. Florida State, Miami play each other, and then Miami's schedule, pretty favorable. I don't want to go crazy here. Cal doesn't play any of the top 4 teams in the ACC. They don't play Florida State. They don't play Clemson. They don't play Miami. They don't play Georgia Tech. Could they sneak in and around? There's going to be a lot of interesting things. There's going to be my prediction would be that there's going to be an 11-1 team that doesn't make it to Charlotte because of all that we have here in front of us in the ACC. Maybe like a 10-2 Georgia Tech with a loss to Georgia or something like that. So yeah, there's going to be some, in my opinion, that carnage that we'll see in the SEC won't happen in the ACC, and somebody's going to sneak into Charlotte without having to sneak into the playoff. Without having to go to Charlotte. Now again, teams could lose games they're not supposed to. I understand that. I'm not saying Cal goes or anything like that, but schedule is set up pretty weird in the ACC this year, and a lot of teams have a chance to win a lot of games at the top of this conference.
There is a strong possibility Georgia Tech is undefeated by the time they play Georgia, in my opinion. I think the NC State game is the only real speed bump left for them. It's at Raleigh, so I think that's going to be a challenging game. It's going to be a good game. Haynes King's health is the most important thing the remainder of the season. Like we jokingly were like Moore on sleeper for his rushing yards. I think it was 48.5. He crosses over 100 yards. It's an old school offense in that they're relying on 10 hats on 11. My concern, based on what they were able to be last year with Haynes King, is I think they had better weapons at wide receiver. I think that's very clear. So they don't necessarily have that same explosivity in the passing game, but they got the job done. Haynes King gets the job done. They need to make sure that the backup quarterback, Aaron Philo, is ready to go in the event that Haynes King goes down. And I think they need to consider in this middle part of their schedule where there are winnable games, trying to get him more involved as a runner, same offensive style, those sorts of things, because all you need is Haynes King bubbled wrapped so that you can handle Georgia at the end of the year, because that's going to be a big, big task the way Georgia played against Tennessee. But Georgia Tech's lined up nicely. I was very happy to be wrong about Clemson in that respect. And Clemson, it's like, I don't know, man. I was talking to a friend about this the other day. Is Cade Klubnik better than Charlie Whitehurst?
Yes.
By a lot?
Yeah. I just said yes. I didn't say by a lot. What I will say is like the glass half full type of mentality. I had Clemson in the playoff at 11-2, and I had them losing to LSU and Georgia Tech in the regular season. So far for me, Clemson's up to par with where I predicted them to be. Now, have they looked the way I thought they were going to look? Not at all. And that's what worries me. But so far, I predicted they would lose to LSU and they would find a way to lose to Georgia Tech. So everything is still ahead of them. But things have got to get better offensively. It cannot be this dreadful of a passing performance and this limited of a rushing attack if you want to stand a chance, especially with what you have defensively.
They've got SMU left on the schedule. They've got Florida State on the schedule, and then they're at South Carolina to end the season. Got to see what happens with Lenora Sellers and his health long term as well, speaking of quarterback health. But yeah, it's not an easy road for Clemson remaining.
Yeah, at Louisville as well on a road ACC game. Florida State game obviously looks tougher for them. The South Carolina one maybe a little easier than you thought, but dang, if their schedule, I mean, their margin for error is pretty thin at this moment. Kind of like Notre Dame, like we talked about earlier. 2 losses in 3 weeks, not a great way to start a season for anybody. That's it. Wednesday, we'll preview some stuff. We appreciate those that tuned in and hung out with us. If you watched over on X, do us a favor and go subscribe on YouTube so that we can see your comments. Always appreciated there. We appreciate the interaction, those that hang out with us in the chat and those that argue with each other in the chat too. It all works for me. It all helps. So TJ Pinger, Tom Hannafin, Cole Thompson, we'll be back Wednesday at noon to talk about Week 4 in college football. And unlike game day, we will talk about more than just the Florida and Miami game. So thank you guys for hanging out. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.